Hello, everyone. My name is Madison Stafford, and today, as part of my research, I'm going to be sharing my presentation with you on Is Reciprocal Teaching Effective? And this is part of my overall research, which was discovering effective strategies to teach reading to students with intellectual disabilities. So, what's ahead? Today, we're going to be talking about what reciprocal teaching is, and we're going to talk about what it means to have an intellectual disability. And of course, we're going to be talking about the strategy that has been found to be very effective in helping students with intellectual disabilities. The strategy we're going to be focusing on, like I said, is reciprocal teaching and what that is. We're going to talk about why RT is used and how it can be used in the classroom. And then I will leave you with some final notes. So, I wanted to begin my presentation with you today by talking about what an intellectual disability is and my reasoning behind choosing this as my research topic. So, according to a study done in 2021 by the National Center for Educational Statistics, 15% of all public school students have some form of a disability, and 6% of these students have what is identified to be an intellectual disability. The Individuals with Disability Act, or IDEA, mandates that these students that are found eligible for having a disability are required to have appropriate education services. But there are often times when teachers ask, how can I help these students? They are met with the response of, they're too low, or there's nothing that we can do. And I think it's about time that we stop accepting that as an answer, because there is stuff that we can do to help these students. It is so incredibly frustrating to see all of these students with learning disabilities have all of these resources, and they're able to be in special education classrooms, and they're able to get these helps and these read alouds. But our students with intellectual disabilities are just told that they're too low and that they're not found eligible for these services because regardless of what we try, sometimes they might not pass. But there has to be more to it. So that was what kind of sparked my research today. Reading is a gateway for so many things in life and for so many opportunities. And children with ID need effective strategies for reading and for reading comprehension. Students with ID, what do they need? They have 4 types of needs when it comes to types of instruction. So first, I would like to tell you about these. So I found that these students need instruction that is explicit. They need instruction that is systematic. They need instruction that is structured. And they need instruction that is very direct. A strategy that I have found through research, among other strategies, but one I found to be very effective is reciprocal teaching. But what is reciprocal teaching? Let's talk about it. So, reciprocal teaching, or RT, is a strategy that has been found to be effective in enhancing reading skills and reading comprehension in students with intellectual disabilities because it includes the types of instruction that are most beneficial for these students. RT is a form of small group instruction that focuses on 4 strategies to help students with their comprehension. These 4 strategies are summarizing, questioning, clarifying, and predicting. Students have the ability to read a book or a passage with their teacher and then have open discussions with their peers about what they have just read using those 4 strategies I just mentioned. RT provides a give and take between the students and their teacher, but ultimately the purpose is to understand the meaning of what they have just read. But you might be asking, why this strategy? Why out of so many did you pick this one? Why is this an effective strategy for helping students who have an intellectual disability? Why? Sometimes we forget that the best ways for our students to learn is sometimes through each other. Allowing our students to take the information that we have taught them and having them reciprocate in reciprocal teaching, reciprocate how we teach, they can help each other. Reciprocal teaching is effective because it allows for reading comprehension discussions among students that have intellectual disabilities and are typical functioning students. And through these discussions, students are able to monitor their understanding of the before, the during, and the after reading. The strategy is a powerful instructional practice in terms of its achievement outcome for students with disabilities because it's a combination of strategies and that direct instruction. Here's an example of how someone could lay out their reciprocal teaching strategy. We've talked about the importance of it, but I wanted to give you an insight of what planning for this type of instruction could look like. You'll notice that in this table that I've provided for you, it gives an example of the strategy and the what, why, and how it can be implemented. Feel free to pause the video and take a closer look at some of these strategies and how they can be implemented. You'll notice that there's a picture walk, and we know that picture walk is great for our younger students, but it's also very beneficial for our third, fourth, even fifth grade students with intellectual disabilities. What is it? You look at the title, you look at the pictures, you find those story elements right there off the bat. And why do we do this? Because it helps that prediction part, right? So students are starting to make those predictions about what it is they're about to read, starting to either spark that prior knowledge or to start building that pre-knowledge that they're going to need for the book. Then they're going to make a prediction, make your best guess about what the text is going to be about. And we do this before reading to get ready to read. Clarify. Look at the words. Look at what words are hard to pronounce or words you don't know the meaning to, or even just words that you are not familiar with at all. This is so beneficial because hopefully by asking these questions, whether it's in a small group with a teacher or in a small group with other peers, they're able to help start recognizing those words that they may or may not understand to begin with. Then it gives students a chance to ask questions. Ask questions about things that happened in the text, questions about something in the text they didn't understand, or maybe talk about what they found interesting in the text. We do this after reading because it helps us better understand what they just read. Then visualize. You can have students draw a picture about what it is you just read, taking it from our brain and putting it into paper. And then the next step for that is we just drew a picture. Now let's use words. Now we're going to summarize. Tell what the text is about in a shorter way, maybe in a few sentences. Only include the important details that support that main idea. Ultimately, the goal of reciprocal teaching is to build that reading comprehension. It's effective. You can use it with students, or you can use it in a small group with teacher. So on this slide, I wanted to give you the opportunity to watch some videos to see reciprocal teaching in action and how it can be implemented in the classroom. However, due to time restraints, I'm not able to show you all of the videos, but please feel free to pause this video, scan the QR codes, and take a look at the video clips. I am going to show you a small portion of a video on the next slide that I feel is a perfect example of everything I just talked about. And it's a perfect example of reciprocal teaching in action and how it can be used in a classroom.
Go. So today we're going to be reading this passage, True Teamwork, and let's underline the title. And now let's number the paragraphs.
Reciprocal teaching is a high impact reading strategy that promotes reading comprehension, students' reading comprehension, and it involves small groups. So students get into small groups, they lead and guide their discussions, and they take on roles, and they engage actively in their reading.
All right. I really hope that you take some time to pause this video and scan the QR code to watch the rest of it, because they go so much more in depth and you get to actually see the children communicating with each other and having discussions. There's at one point when they're in their clarifying stage of their discussion, they're challenging different answers and they're helping each other to understand. You have children being honest about when they don't know something. And what this teacher does really well is she has taught them and she has trained them well on how to have these discussions together. But she has also included a group leader who is in charge of making sure that the group is staying on task and that they are making sure that everybody is performing their job. And it is really a powerful video to watch and to get a really good understanding of a very beneficial strategy for the classroom. So I would really encourage you to take a look and watch the rest of the video. So some final notes that I have for you. To conclude our presentation today, I wanted to share some final notes from what we've talked about. So through research, it's been shown that reciprocal teaching is an effective way to benefit students with intellectual disabilities. These strategies need to be taught to students, and they require systematic, structured, explicit teaching to benefit this percentage of students that struggle with intellectual disabilities. We discussed how students need explicit, systematic, intensive, and direct instruction throughout their entire elementary career, and not just in kindergarten or first grade. They need it through the entire elementary career in order to continue to be successful. Accepting that there is no help or that there's very limited help for these students shouldn't be an excuse anymore, just because they're too low. This can't be an acceptable excuse, and we need to find ways to benefit these students for them to be successful for the rest of their schooling, but also for the rest of their lives. We need to begin implementing strategies such as reciprocal teaching early to help these students in their reading adventure. So these are some of my resources. And thank you so much. I would love to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I truly hope that together we can come up with some better ways to help those students who really need our help the most. So thank you.